Hey guys, it's your girl D Bonnie Banks.
Hey, it's your girl Honey.
And it's just us two today on the Raw Pod, and we're gonna keep it real
And real raw.
and real raw. On our last episode, Honey, you mentioned that you actually lost 65 pounds. I just learned so much about Honey on the last one. Lost 65 pounds, had lipo. Talk about this journey and where it started.
So it started because I was actually about 140 pounds and I severed my ACL and my meniscus in two places. And then during that time, I ended up getting 2 blood clots. So I couldn't work out. I couldn't eat properly because it's so crazy about like blood clots. If you have a lot of vitamin K in your body, which is from enriched foods like spinach or like dark leafy greens, it causes more blood. Because that's what it does. Vitamin K is basically it helps your blood. Yeah. So you don't want new blood like that because if you cut yourself, you can bleed out. Because I was on blood thinners.
I see.
So I think I started to self-indulge in like junk food and things that were comfort foods for me. And I went from 140 to 195. And then from 195 to 200. And I just woke up one morning and my back hurt, my sciatic nerve hurt. And I was like, this is unhealthy. I'm 5'2". I should not be 200 pounds.
Right.
And I just said I had to make a change. So I went to the doctor and he was like, look, we can put you on, and Ozempic was not a thing back then. This is back in 2021.
Okay,
so
we
if
haven't
it was,
heard of it.
this
Well,
is
it
when
was, but it wasn't.
It was
for
very
this.
expensive.
Yes,
Yes.
and it also wasn't for body, losing body weight. And stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was like, we can put you on it, but what you would need to do is you're going to have to take like phentermine, or you could get plastic surgery. Ozempic wasn't really something that people were taking for, I guess, weight loss back then.
Yeah.
It was strictly for diabetes. So he was like phentermine or plastic surgery. He was like, because even with that visceral fat, you'll never lose it. He says, once you get it, sometimes women's bodies, they're meant for having babies.
Yeah.
So they'll keep that fat around that abdominal.
Layer.
Abdominal area.
I
And
tell men that
said,
all the time.
okay. So I said, F that. I don't even like kids. I don't even want kids. I was very much so single.
Okay.
And I was just like, that's not what I wanted. So I went ahead and got plastic surgery because I'm like, why not? Lipo, it takes out, 4 ounces? 4 ounces is 11 pounds. And I was like, okay, if they can take out 11 pounds of fat, then I'll do the rest of the work myself.
Okay.
Because it's not like I already didn't work out before, but I felt like lipo would give me what I needed.
Like a little head start, a little jump start. Okay.
So then I got the lipo. I got super fine. And girl, I started eating everything because I felt like I didn't need, like it was like, yeah, I'm gonna work out a little bit, but it's okay because nothing in my stomach was showing.
Right.
But I was getting bigger everywhere else. So I had that gorilla effect.
Oh, Lord.
You know, the ones that they always talk about? I look like a cute baby chimpanzee. And I said, oh no, we're not doing this. And so then I decided to go to Effect Fitness. And I was like, look, I already paid the money. I'm not paying for this again. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the right way. And I honed in. I changed my diet. I changed the way I looked at myself.
Yeah.
And I really put a game plan in place. And then I lost the 65 pounds strictly with going to Effect Fitness, eating right,
Nice.
and lifting weights, lifting heavy.
That is, in my head, 65 pounds is so much.
It was a lot.
And for you to just be able to do that, I know, how much did lipo actually take out? Because did it
11
work?
pounds.
Okay, so it
worked because it took out the fat out of my abdominal area.
Right.
So though it takes out the fat there, it goes other places.
Of course,
You know?
yes. I
Yeah.
tell people that all the time. Like, you can take out the fat here, but then your arms and this part right here is all fat, and I'm trying to figure out how to, like, put a shirt over it sometimes. But yeah, like, you have to understand that your body does want to hold fat, especially as a female.
Yep.
As a woman.
As a woman.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't actually see the behind the scenes transformations that people have, especially on Instagram. It's like one day they look like this, and then the next day.
And that's what I did. I focused on my page was I made sure that I did it as a diary, and it's called like Journey with Honey, where I showed this is what I look like and this is all the things I did to get there.
Yeah.
I notated every workout, everything that I was eating. I was very transparent, and I think we talked about it in another topic where it's like, erasing your page and starting over. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want people to lose sight of me being a real human, me being a real woman.
Absolutely.
And these are the things that I did. And then a lot of women like to say, oh, I didn't get surgery. They come back and say they went on a fitness route. And it's like, don't lie.
Yeah.
It's okay if you
What
did
is
it,
that?
but what are you doing from there on? I think it's more about they're ashamed of what they did.
Okay.
When it's like you shouldn't have any shame. If you can financially afford to
I
do
was
a
just
nip
about
tuck,
to say, if I'm
just
going to
do
pay
it.
for it, then I cannot be ashamed of the monies. That's
Exactly.
crazy. I just think that too, it makes this unrealistic expectation of how transformation even looks to people.
Right.
Because I understand if, say, whatever, we're in the microwave society. If you do want to microwave your body, do that. But then
Right.
tell me that you microwaved it and now you actually have to keep it on the burner to sustain that. You know what I'm saying? Because that body, it's like you said, it's going to go to your arms, it's going to go to your feet, it's going to go to your legs. Like you're not just
And
keeping
then
weight off.
also everyone doesn't have the same type of metabolism. So
That
for me,
part.
it's like I have to consistently work out. Like I can't take days off. If I don't work out, I naturally swell up. I naturally retain water. So it's like for some people where it's like you said earlier, you've been the same, and granted you do work out, so we're not going to take from that, but you said you've been the same size for 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that feels like. I've been the same size at one point for 3 years, and I was like 140 pounds. And then now it's been going up and down. I got married, all the things that have, life things happen.
Yeah, life things are happening
And
to
so
you.
it's just like body dysmorphia is literally taking over.
So talk about how that may play on your emotional state because, sometimes food is attached to emotions versus like working out is attached to emotions and the mirror, what you see in the mirror is attached to how you actually feel.
I had to start having like multiple talks with myself. My husband's really good about encouraging me, but it's so funny because you think like, oh, I want to do this, and then I get the man, and then after I get the man, I don't care what anybody else. No, I still
No.
care. I still
Yeah.
care I still care how I feel about me, but I also want to be the same person that he fell in love with. And a lot of women let themselves go once they get the relationship, once they move forward with whatever part that whatever they wanted to accomplish. I don't think like I'm a person where it's like temporary.
Gotcha.
I want to make sure that like I'm constantly going after that goal and being consistent in how I move forward with what I'm doing. But it's hard. I mean,
Yeah.
you're someone who is in the limelight. You're a star. It's the same for you. How do you feel with having, to always look or appear to look perfect?
It's a lot of pressure. And I think that fortunately, because I did pageants, I understood discipline was really important and consistency. So it was like, of course, discipline what I eat, consistency in going to the gym, and constantly doing that regardless of how I felt. And I think people need to understand, I've never woken up and been like, oh, I hate going to the gym, I don't want to go. But I've definitely, after I've went, been like, I'm so glad I went. So I think that when I always remember that I've never regretted going to the gym, even though I don't want to go, I've never regretted going. And at the same time, now I kind of lost track of your question in my head, but just knowing that your body is a journey. It's always a journey. And I try to keep up with what I'm eating and how I feel towards the gym versus how I look.
Right.
Because that's going to constantly change.
Right.
Like, as you turn, this decade, you're going to look like this. This decade, you're going to look like this. There's some people that look better in their 40s than they did in their 20s. And, like, even that, I'm like, I hope that happens to me.
Right.
That would be great. But it all comes from discipline and consistency at the same time. And you can't go off of your emotions because emotions are fleeting.
And I think giving yourself grace, I think I constantly give myself grace because the other day I was walking down, I had to go get my license changed or something, and this girl's on the phone and she's talking to her friend about me, and she's like, girl, that girl's body's tea. I was like, who? And I'm looking around, she's like, yours. And I'm like, girl, I tell my friends all the time, I think I look like a gummy bear sometimes. Because you look at gummy bears, they're cute, soft, and cuddly. And my friends laugh, but I'm being serious that I have to laugh at my pain.
Yeah.
So that way I'm like, okay, you know what you need to do, and these are the things that you need to do, but you never see yourself through the eyes of a stranger. So all the things that you're nitpicking, someone else wish they look half as good as that. So I had to learn how to just give myself grace, especially when I am trying on activewear, and I am trying different activewear brands, because sometimes a small in one activewear brand is a extra small,
And
then it
one.
makes you play, or an extra large fits you. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, this is an extra large right now. This is the season I'm in.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, I have on an extra. If it looks good, it looks good.
It
I need to
is.
stop caring about
The
the size
size
that I
tag.
see, or even what I see on the scale, because I think you said earlier, like, you're the same size, but your body looks different at the same size,
yeah.
depending on where you are. So I think it's just that. It's the
Yeah,
mental
I'll
aspect
definitely
of it.
say, going back to that question that you asked about pressures, that's where it was. The pressure to always look good in general for women, from their face to their bodies, especially because of entertainment, Instagram, I feel like it's constantly always running through my mind.
So what do
all
you
the
do on the
time.
days where, because you're at the radio station, what time do you
Yeah.
have to get there in the morning?
I'm there at 1. I'm a 3 to 7, but I'm there at 1.
Okay, so how do you feel going in? Because even though you're not physically being seen on camera, you still have to show up for
Yeah.
yourself. Like, how does that feel for you?
Well, now I go live all the time, so I'm always still having to be seen. I make sure, but I think that now I've decided that I'm doing it for myself and it's not for other people. And like I'll see other girls that might be younger than me, and of course when you're younger sometimes you're smaller than what you are as you get older and whatnot, and you try to keep your body as you can. Like I'm just trying to maintain the body that I like in that moment. And that's what I do every day. I make sure I wake up, I go to the gym, I had time to myself, and now I'm going to go to work and I can put in good effort at my job because I've deposited into myself already.
Right.
So, I think that I just try to remember that what I see on social media is not reality. And I have to constantly tell myself that because some of the women I love Tiana Taylor, but we know that there are things that Tiana has access to that is keeping her body, keeping her face maintained that I don't have access to, and that is okay.
Right.
But I need to be okay with that being okay because that's
Right.
not my reality. That's definitely hers, and she looks amazing all the
Amazing,
time.
for sure.
But for me, it's like I have to remember that's not my reality, and social media is just showing me the glitz and glam. It's not showing me the behind the scenes.
And all the stress and all the anguish. And I mean, you could see now like how happy she is now, but we
yeah.
didn't see all the other stuff that she was going through silently and stuff fighting silently.
Right.
So a lot of stuff, you see something and it looks like a pretty picture, but internally it may not be exactly what
Exactly
it
who
is
she
too.
wants. And I feel like I saw that with Lizzo's journey.
Yeah.
Like Lizzo has lost so much weight and she looks amazing now too. And I think that even watching her just change and say that she decided to do that for herself tells me that nothing's picture perfect.
Yeah,
And we're all going
agreed.
through a journey of who we want to be and who we want to become.
I love that.
Yeah, so
Okay,
this
yes,
is too
look at you
hard.
today.
Love it. Well, we got to know a little bit more about you, honey, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So tell them where they can find you at.
So you can find me as obviously one of the hosts of the Raw Pod,
Of course.
but _Honey Lopez on Instagram, and then Journey with Honey Lo on TikTok.
Yes, and follow that journey. I'm your girl, The Bonnie Banks, THEE, The Bonnie Banks. If you guys like our outfits, this is a nice little mocha look. I like it for the fall. You can get it at itsrawactive.com. Thanks for checking out the Raw Pod.
Bye, guys.